What's up, guys? Welcome to April 30th, episode 46 of the Colecast. My name is Francis, and I am here with Nathan Brandt.
Hi.
Co-founder of Cole Ironworks.
Good morning.
Nathan's in a mood. Actually, many moods so far today. So we'll see how this goes. This could either be a very long or a very
It's going to be arduous. It's going to be a long one.
It's going to be the shortest, longest podcast we've ever done. It's April 30th, so you know what that means. Tomorrow is May 1st. So what's going on around the shop?
You're right.
Yep. I mix up March and May every time, so I'm really proud of myself.
You need more knucks.
I do. First things first, we did a contest for sending memes, preferably cat memes, to Evan, our producer. And we got a few in, and the winner has been chosen. Can I get some dramatic... Evan looks like he's queuing something up.
Sorry, I thought I had a drum roll.
Don't want to step on his feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so drum roll, please. That would be going to Paul Elkins of Gentle Giant Forge. Paul will not even
I'm so
hate
excited for this.
so much.
You don't. You love it.
Paul will be receiving this shirt.
This abomination.
And the best part is my one request that we add some sort of context.
Nope.
What?
And
what robe is that?
Evan refused. That is...
That's got some clanny feels.
Whoa.
What's going on there?
I can't look like this and get clan allegations. Right? Let's be real. The first thing that my employees, when I moved to Chicago, we had masks and everything. The first time I was able to take my mask off, the very first thing my employees said to me, Nancy, oh yeah, you look like you're from Indiana. Don't know what that means. She was like, well, with the mask on, you just look like the rest of us. So thank you, Nancy. I still think about that.
It's called a mask fit.
All of the time. Paul will be receiving this shirt with absolutely zero context on it. People will not know that it is a Cole Ironworks shirt. They will not know who I am. They will not know why the eagle is cross-eyed. Or why I'm holding such a large hammer.
Do you know why?
So, no,
Does the context exist?
I don't think there's actual context outside
There
of...
is a whole lore built up around this shirt.
One time,
You will never
I
get
said
to
that I
know.
liked American Thunder shirts. And Evan designed this.
Yeah, that's what happened.
He designed
actually.
shirts and shorts that match.
Yeah, I got some booty shorts with this on.
So,
Oh, good.
let's just stretch away the bad vibes there.
All right. Stretching away.
Paul,
Congratulations, Paul.
congratulations.
Well deserved.
Also, one of our OG 12-ton users has recently gone full-time with knife making, so make sure you check out Gentle Giant Forge. He does chef's knives and kitchen specialty stuff.
I always need.
He also...
I'm hard on knives.
He is very hard on knives.
I break them.
That's another shirt idea.
Last time I spoke with Paul, he was doing a run of stainless knives for a retailer, I believe. Specifically designed them with a chef of what he would want out of a like a starter set of knives, if I remember the conversation correctly. Paul, I'm sorry if I'm lying on you, but he has
That'd be heavy if
some-
you were lying on him. Especially if you're in that robe.
it's a 40-pound robe.
Obviously.
Sounds like a bad metalcore band name, 40-pound robe. But Paul has some cool stuff coming up. I know he also just recently launched his YouTube and has been putting up shorts. I try to like them when they come through my algorithm, but YouTube and Instagram never show you what you actually follow.
We were just discussing.
And they
a lot of
only
murder.
show you what they think you like.
Murder.
Which is the complete opposite of what you follow typically. So...
Just trying to broaden your horizons.
yeah, they're just trying to expose you to the evils of this world. Paul's awesome, dude. Everybody give him a follow, give him a shout out. I really like that caricature of him above the knife.
That is really cute.
Yeah.
You put that logo on the back of the shirt.
Oh, we should.
but then they'll think that it's his shirt.
It is.
And then
It
people
is.
will
He
try
won
to
it.
order it from him, and then he'll have to have a line of Wizard
that's-
Francis
I
shirts.
think that's fine.
That's okay.
I think that's,
I don't consent to my name and likeness being used for Wizard
Well,
shirts.
AI exists, so
Yeah, that's
get,
true.
get
Anywho, so news and events. We have May 3rd, intro into the Forge Blade. I don't work for the school, but I'm going to speak freely here. Brett Onick will be teaching a class called Intro to the Forged Blade, and this is a beginner class. If you have thought of hot metal before, you're qualified.
Congratulations. Can we get the clap again?
Yeah.
Congratulations for qualification. Brett is a wonderful, wonderful human. He is doing great things on the induction forge that he recently got from us. Shout out Leslie for having the
Shout
best
out Leslie.
Valentine's
Great
Day
people.
present
Just the best.
that has ever existed. Genuinely the best people.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yep. Let's just support good people.
Support good people. Follow. If you want to buy a house, follow Leslie. If you want to buy knives or steel, Brett is gearing up to start selling homemade steel.
I doubt that's what he'll call it, though. Probably
he's
not homemade.
Probably got a cool name for it. Wow.
What is that
You
from?
look insane.
I go out in public like that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's actually your church jacket, too. That's the scary part.
I've had that jacket for probably 15 years.
Oh, I know.
That's awesome.
I actually really like that jacket.
It is a good jacket. The zipper just broke.
We can get that fixed.
The girth.
We can get that fixed. So take a class with Brett. You will, from start to finish, be making a knife. You will forge it to shape, and then you will grind it, and then you will heat treat it. And I believe you
our
will
beautiful
handle it.
world-class facility here in Anderson, Indiana.
Genuinely have been finding out recently, this is the time of year where a lot of schools are queuing up for like August-ish. And then also like dedicated blacksmithing schools are queuing up for their summer rush. So been talking to a lot of schools, and you know, I don't want to toot our own horn here, but a lot of these schools are operating off very little equipment, and you know, they're giving great experiences still. I'm not diminishing what they're doing, but it gives me a lot of I'm thankful for the facilities that we have and for the infrastructure that we've been able to build over the past few years. And also a reminder, that is open to the public the last Saturday of every month. And you can just come and hang out with us and forge stuff for free.
Brett won't be there because he lives really far away.
Yes, they are not. So in the IBA meetings, they're not guided classes. It is just come work on a project. There are a few guys that might
We'll keep you from
tag
harm.
in and keep you from harm.
We'll try. We'll try.
But it's a lot more kind of a do-it-yourself mentality. So if you don't want to spend 3 days in a class with 4 other guys and you want more just pedal to the metal, figure it out yourself, the IBA
it out.
meetings are there for it. Nobody's going to question you if you just walk over to a power hammer and start it up. We just assume you know what you're doing. That's kind of our outlook. And it's worked so far. So far, so good. So we're going to keep doing that irresponsibly. So take the class from Brett. Come to IBA meetings. Next order of business is we have the KA production rolling strong. We have shipped out the first batch of non-presale K75s. We did have a little...
That's a beautiful K75 there, Evan, you have on the screen.
We had a little mix up with the shipping where it deleted all the shipping information when we updated some of the
Love it
other
when that
information.
happens. That's a good happening.
Yeah, so we got that updated.
Shout out Ecom.
Shout out Ecom. The Canadians really know how to build a website. So if you are experiencing any problems with shipping, including this $5,000 machine costs $1,200 to ship to me, email me shipping@coaliron.com and I will get that figured out because shipping
The shipping fairy. He's going to fix it.
shipping should not be $1,200. I would
What if it is,
estimate shipping for 80% to 90% of our customers to be within $400 to $800, depending on where you're at.
That's a broad range.
That's a pretty broad range, but that's about.
That's also why we don't do flat.
That's why we don't do flat
shipping.
There are times where I can ship to, say, Kansas for cheaper than I can ship to Ohio. It's pretty strange the way some of that
I
works
hate
out.
shipping.
Yep.
Just come here and
actually,
take a class and pick up your press.
I shipped a press to I arranged shipping on a press to France for $800,
yeah.
which is less than what it takes to ship a C-frame to California.
Yep.
So
Or Utah.
or Utah. Yeah,
Utah's
Utah's
are
bad.
rough.
Montana's pretty bad.
I think Utah is probably the worst that I've dealt with.
Yeah. Utah has nothing.
There's no shipping lanes.
None.
Yeah.
None. You just get like the carrier's like, yeah, we won't even go there. Like we wouldn't even
Well,
try.
we used a carrier a couple years ago to ship to Utah, and it sat at the depot for like 3 weeks.
Oh,
and we were like,
Roadrunner.
what are you doing? And they were like, well, we're just waiting for more packages so that we can
Yep.
afford to send a truck to Utah.
So Roadrunner's really cheap,
Yeah.
but it's because they run off that model
Right.
of once there's a truck full.
then it
they
goes.
go.
But who knows?
But yeah, exactly. Who knows? So I have had those experiences as well.
Hmm.
And then you get the email that's like, "Hey, where's my press?" It says it's still in shipment. And then you call. We call Mike is his name. Call Mike, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's in Chicago and will be for the next looks like 14 days at this rate." So
So we don't use Roadrunner.
we don't use them very often.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, I expressly tell the customer, like, hey, there's
Right.
no lead time, but
Right.
you're going to save $400.
Right.
You know? And sometimes that works out. Sometimes guys buy the press and then we go to ship it and they're like, hey, my shop's not built. Do not
Yeah.
send that. Why are you sending that? And it's like, well, it's been 2.5 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
like
We're ready.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
ready to ship it. But that's also not a problem. I have a large facility with places to put things. So
Acre under roof.
I've got a 60 ton that has been here for almost a full calendar year that the customer's still not ready to receive.
Yeah.
So
Well, shout out for pre-planning.
yeah, I mean it's ready for him.
It'll get there when he's ready.
I'm probably gonna have to unpackage it and run through it again just to like. I don't want rust spots or anything, or
Yeah.
you know. We'll get it cleaned up for him. But all right, so that's what's going on in the shop. Thank you guys, everybody, so much who has ordered a K75, who has shown interest, who has asked questions. I already have revisions for the owner's manual because you never really know frequently asked questions until you get questions
Frequently
that
asked
are asked
questions.
frequently.
FAQs, baby.
So that revision will be coming. Anybody that has bought a K75 will get an email with the updated. It's not going to be a big update, but I'll make sure you get one of
Tweaked.
those.
Tuned.
Tweaked some of the
to
break-in
perfection.
period. Keep it under pressure, under power, whatever you want to call it, for about 4 or 5 hours, and just cycle it a couple times just to loosen everything up because they're built to fit, so everything's tight in there. And that's been the number one question is hey, this looks like it's got more throw and it's not going all the way up. Well, it's tight, so slam it, knock it around a little bit, and it'll loosen up. So that's what's going on around Cole. Nathan, what's going on around Cole for you? You moved the Mazak out of the building yesterday.
Yeah. Sad day.
A little more bittersweet than I expected.
I'm sad. I was going through and decommissioning it and pulling out. It's such a well-built machine.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be great.
Well, Mazak, maybe one of these weeks we cover Mazak because they have a really cool kind of history of being a family-owned, operated.
Beautiful machines. When we were in Scotchman, I mean, it revolutionized their entire facility because the issue when we went to South Dakota and we were walking through the facility, shout out American Made Tour, Scotchman American Made Tour. We filmed that years ago now.
a good video.
I think it was our first one, wasn't it, Evan? Producer Evan? Sorry to
get you off your phone.
get you off your phone there. I know you were memeing it.
Yeah.
Memeing it. Was
No,
that our
you got
first
me.
one? South Dakota? Phillips, South Dakota?
Yep.
That was awesome. But they have a staffing problem.
Yeah.
The hospital employs half of the town, and Scotchman
Scotchman's
employs the other half.
Yeah.
And so he was like, if we want to grow, we want to expand, we just even want to maintain. We had to automate. So they've got a massive system where they've got these huge Mazak horizontals, and then they've got this tombstone system so their operators can prep up. So they'll stock tombstones full of parts in preparation. And so the machine will just automatically install the tombstone, run the parts, comes out, next tombstone comes in. But excuse me, when we so we had the option to repair one of two machines. It was a Mazak super quick turn lathe, which had been just run into the ground, and then there was the Mazak
As they should be. That's what they're made
VTC
for.
16, and so we got the mill, and it's a movable column, so the spindle actually moves, the table stays fixed. What that lets you do is you can't overload the table.
Right.
It's just straight on the casting. Yeah, so that's not a Mazak.
I was looking for the tombstones.
That
I don't
is
know if I got
that
any
is technically a tombstone. You did
shots.
remember you almost got killed by the tool changer.
Oh yeah.
Gosh,
I'll
that's an
find it.
awesome. Yeah, that's an awesome facility tour. I
Yeah.
was super pumped. He was incredibly gracious. I still have the mug that he gave me. But yeah, I thought it was going to be awesome, but we could not figure out how to run it. We got a DNC control system added to it so that we could drip feed it, and we realized that we had missed the model year by 1 year. And so the drip feed wasn't working, and so
And it doesn't hold
just-
programs, right? You
So it holds. I think it has it's got I don't know, 50 megabytes or something, and so we just weren't able to get it. We had people come in and train us and how to run the machine, and essentially what it boiled down to was we could not fit it into our manufacturing process. And
Yeah.
so we tried to sell it. We tried to work with local guys, small makers that had the time to really dig in and work on the console, or if they wanted to update the console, all that. And eventually it got to the point where I needed the floor space.
Yeah.
And so it had to go. So I decommissioned it yesterday, and we literally drug it out of the building. It's getting loaded on a truck today, and it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And we have so much more room for activities, but it is sad. I just feel bad. I was taking it apart. Like, this machine is world class quality. The quality of the components, it's just outdated. And we had a tape deck that we could feed it parts from, but it just, that was the lathe, which is also a Mazak.
Man,
You missed the big mills are right behind us. Anyway, watch the American Made Scotchman Industries tour on YouTubes
YouTubes.
and YouTubes only.
didn't like that.
No.
I don't know why.
Did that have connotations?
I don't know.
Don't know.
So that's going in. We've got 3 new presses. The
punch presses.
punch presses.
Yeah.
It's not Fimic. What's the
No, there's 3 manufacturers. We hit the sweet spot. We got a Faracute,
Faracute? That's the word I'm.
and that one is probably 1930s era. Super cool machine. The history of the company is awesome. Out of Bridgeton, New Jersey, and the original factory is still there, and it's for sale. If anyone wants to buy a beautiful steel, well, maybe iron and glass factory, that would be a place to do it. And the founder of Faracute designed an electromagnetic audio recording device that later became the basis of modern hard drives.
Yes.
Which is just super cool. So we got a Faracute. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. A Minster, and then a Roselle. Russell. I don't know how to say that one either.
I would say Roselle.
So we've got
Based
a
off this
20
one.
ton, a 45 ton, and a 60 ton, and we're developing some die sets for forging in punch presses, which I'm super excited about because I've wanted to do that for the last 20 years.
Right. And once again, this is coming with a disclaimer. We did not buy these to reproduce them. We are not reproducing
I
these
would
machines.
love to reproduce a mechanical. Do I have my
Yes.
book?
But these are for some of the OEM projects that we're getting into.
Yes.
These are not going to be something that you guys will see come to market from
Nope.
us.
No, but I was
But-
talking to a guy this week, end of last week, about building some custom die sets for his production process. And it was really fun that I was able to take what I just learned building the die sets for these and help him kind of think through how it can fit into, because they're very capable machines, incredibly dangerous. My old youth pastor sold press safety equipment, and he would always say, "Well, you know how a punch press operator orders 3 drinks." So I'm keeping that in mind the whole time I'm doing this. So yeah, this is some fun stuff.
I found the clip that almost got me.
Yep. I think it was like 120.
There it is.
They're right there.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you just stick your head in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little spooky.
Yeah. Super
Very cool,
machines.
though.
Very, very cool machines. So
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, if no one knows about the American Made Tours, we traveled all over the country and toured
The
factories and industrial
Warwood
facilities.
one did very well.
The Warwood was our climax,
Yeah.
for sure. That was our crescendo endo, because I looked back and realized how much we had spent on travel and video.
And
So.
being time away from the family necessitates.
Yeah, that was hard. It was easier. We only had like 3 kids at that point. But now we got 5. 5 is more than 3. Turned
5
out.
is more than 3. I'm glad you're in charge of numbers here. 5 is more than 3.
Some accounting, some babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, all right. Well, that's it's not been a
Historic week.
historic week. Yeah, just
My
kinda
voice
some-
cracked. That was the historic moment.
little move arounds. Some
Some
things.
skookum choochers.
We acquired some grade 5 titanium.
Like a lot of it.
like a lot of it?
Like a cubic foot of it.
Yeah, to make some spatulas for the IBA competition this year. So that's going to be cool.
We were just talking about how these other podcasts are just podcasts of people sitting and talking about things that we aren't a part of. And I feel like...
Yeah, well, I mean, people can be a part of the IBA. They can come out to the conference.
Sure. Yep, that's true.
June 6th and
Probably
7th and 8th.
the
Yes.
best blacksmithing association in the
Absolutely
United
the
States.
best.
They're all-star team.
Hands down.
The guys.
We talked about it a little bit last week. There is no drama. There is no egos. There is nothing but support and, just guys being dudes.
Well, I think
Just get it hot and hit it.
I would like to appreciate the fact that Kurt Fehrenbach is like a historical treasure.
Yeah.
Ties back through Clifton Ralph and just like pure industrial heritage, his family line, the Fountain Town Forge, which we will need to do a factory tour of after Norbert gets that place settled in. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Well, and, you've got Jeff Reinhold.
I think it's Reinhardt.
Is it Reinhardt?
I think so.
I don't know. Jeff
Reinhoff?
You've got guys who really know what they're doing. You've got a lot of guys up on, like the northern part of Indiana. There's a lot of metallurgists and a lot of kind of big industrial forging experience coming out of Gary and South Bend, and none of those guys. I'm getting a spam call. None of those guys come to it with an ego or I know this and you don't, and I wouldn't have done it that way, or it is just a wonderful, wonderful organization to be a part of. If you are anywhere close to Indiana, you don't have to live in Indiana to be a part of it. We will take people from Michigan and Illinois and come out, hang out with us, come to the conference, and I think Nate Wise is demonstrating this year.
Cool.
Younger guy,
Probably not.
big on.
Probably the same age.
It's probably my age. Yeah, that's true. Big on kind of smaller hand tools. Last project I saw him doing was calipers.
Unfortunately, I have to take this. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Pause. Black screen, and we're coming back. Black screen.
Anywho, so
yeah,
the
we're here
the
right now.
IBA, wonderful, wonderful organization, and everybody should come out and partake in what they have because it is all just the opportunity for companionship. You get to compan with people. So, moving on from our 45-minute
I want to
intro.
introduce my new section. This is our new section. Nathan reads Reddit. Can I get that clap? Yes.
Nathan just recently learned how to read, so
Obviously.
we have to give him,
I got in trouble for reading my thing funny, which I knew I would. So I'm going to keep doing it because it really adds to the segment.
Turning off my mic.
I think the person that made that post commented on the video. He said, "You read my question."
no, that's,
I think that
Was that a
someone else
joke?
making
That was a joke, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was excited.
No.
I thought we had participation and
no,
companionship.
he's a buddy.
Anyone know how to make a furnace forge? I don't really want to buy one. I don't mind buying materials, though, as long as it's less than $300. I am very new, so IDK. What else need? Tool, anvil molds. So if anyone has advice, praying hands. So making a forge furnace at home, a forge furnace at home. So many questions, so little time. What kind of forge furnace? Do you want a charcoal forge furnace? Do you want a coal forge furnace? Do you want a coke forge furnace? Do you want a propane forge furnace? Do you want a natural gas forge furnace? Do you want a waste oil forge furnace? Do you want a diesel forge furnace? I'm asking you.
I'm getting ready to build a coal forge, so
All right, so coal forge it is. The easy. Okay, so when I was a kid, when I was just a youth, do you have any youthful noises like a bird in a tree? What was the bird that?
one specific bird that did that,
Oh, I mean, I'm not asking what his name was.
Gracie.
John Wayne, bro. What's up? It got dark.
Gracie.
I don't know. So when I was a youth, I'm trying to remember the name. There was a knife making couple on the internet, and they would show you how to use
The Minix.
a zinc tub from the Maynards, which I just learned Maynards is like a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
They don't have them other places.
No.
It is the best home goods store. Home goods?
I went
Big
there.
box
I went
store?
there
What
on
is it?
on Saturday, and I bought shower curtains. I bought regular curtains and everything to install them with,
Mm-hmm.
so like curtain rods and everything. I went grocery shopping.
Mm-hmm.
I bought 2 books, and I scouted out a new couch.
It's like food and stuff. It's like the ultimate food and stuff.
It's literally
Get a steak
everything.
and the new drill.
and deep freezer. I looked at deep freezers as well.
Did you get one?
I will be going back with the next
Deep
paycheck.
freezers are hard. I got to tell you,
I just want a little Foot
my
Locker
mom
one.
had one in our basement when I was growing up. She bought it used for like $5. She still has it and it still works.
Yeah.
And I just don't trust new things.
She probably defrosts it every couple
Oh,
years.
no. It's like 8 inches thick.
Oh,
Yeah, she just like shoves the product underneath it. It keeps it extra cold.
good.
I saw a deep freeze on the side of the road the other day and it said free, but don't open. And it was taped shut. So I assume
Dead body
that there's a lot of meats and dairy products.
from humans.
What's with you and the murders?
Dead bodies.
So what you're saying is that AI actually does know what you want to see.
I don't agree
Murdery
with
guy. So anyway, they showed how to take a tub. You take a tub. What kind of tub? What is it? A tub? It's a metal tub, like a basin.
Like
What
a
do you
wash
call
tub.
it? Like a wash tub. And you would drill a hole in the side, and you would put a pipe in with lots of little holes in it. That was your tweer.
This doesn't sound like the Minix.
And then you pack it full of dirt and clay, and then you wet the clay and you smear it, just clay out of your backyard. And then you would put charcoal in it, or coal, it wouldn't matter. And it'll make a really nice long fire because you have a long tweer. And then you hook up like a hairdryer or a hand crank or a bellows. I made a pair of bellows in my youth out of a piece of pallet wood and some leather. And I stapled the leather on, and it didn't work. So
I wonder why.
it's hard.
It is.
I made a power hammer too when I was a kid. I made it out of 4x4 pieces of oak, and it also didn't work.
Pig oak?
Pig oak.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was really called, but my dad always called it pig oak, and it was stinky.
Yeah.
So that was a way you could do it. You could do it like me. You just get a 55-gallon drum and you just cut it in half. And then you pile some dirt on the side and then pile up the wood and then burn the wood down and then you blow into the pipe. Don't suck in to the pipe. I heard that's bad for your health. So that's one way to do it. Guys do brake drum forges, but you got to have a welder.
Yep.
Also, you could just like take a bowl and pack it with clay. And I know that seems like chintzy, but the reality is the clay can handle the heat much better than the metal can.
Raised garden bed.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen a bunch of dirt forges.
Oh, yeah.
My advice.
Wood frame
Yes.
dirt forges. Yep.
My advice is so when you're 18, go to a big music festival and meet a weirdo who introduces you to a girl who will cut your hair and then have him fix your hair and develop a 20-year friendship with him.
Okay.
That friend will start a small business and eventually hire you. And because of the small amount of notoriety you have in your community, you'll gain an old man friend named Max. And Max will just randomly show up one day
Yes.
with a coal forge.
Yep.
And then that friend will take that coal forge home and then bring it back because he decided he didn't like it. And then you can just have it. So that's my advice on how to get a forge.
That's a pretty good plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I can add much to that.
yeah, that's kind of how I got mine.
So my biggest thing is, I always say, just get started.
Yeah,
just go make
just
it.
do it.
Dig a hole in your backyard. You just need something to contain
do it.
the fire, and then heat it up, and then hit it on your rock.
Yep.
And if you like it, then you can buy more stuff.
And
If you have $300 though,
you can just buy one.
you can now. Yeah, Amazon. You get one of those like $70.
How much does Dave still sell fire pots?
Oh yeah, Dave Custer.
Yep.
How much does he sell his for?
That's a great question.
Because I'm pretty sure you can buy a fire pot from him for under $200.
Used to be that in Ohio they would do like an annual cast iron pour, and they would pour a bunch of fire pots. There's a lot of different forges though.
Oh, dude. Easy.
Ooh, forge pan.
Easy.
Yep.
That's just the pan though, bud.
He's got fire pots on here somewhere. Yeah,
He
there
does. 185 super sucker. I will attest to the super sucker is super at sucking. So that was really interesting. When I was getting started, everyone had the big open top, what do you call them? The hoods over their forges, and they would always complain they don't work. And then people started doing the super sucker side drafts, and so I built one. My dad was a fabricator, and so I told him what I wanted, and so he brought home a stainless steel, broken, TIG welded, like beautiful
Is
thing.
that the one we had in Carmel?
Yeah. Yep.
That was huge.
It was too large for the forge that I had, and then then he built me a big forge, which I sold. I feel bad about that, but I didn't have a shop at the time. So anyway, so I have experimented with diesel and waste oil forges for the last few years. Those are my favorite because they are cheap to run, they're super messy, and they are the hottest forge I've ever used. I melted 3,000 degree fire brick into glass in one, and there was dragon's breath everywhere. So much dragon's breath that when you would open the forge, the dragon's breath would come up and melt your face shield. I had a face shield go. Scary.
Scary.
It was a scary
And
moment.
it's green, which is also scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it can be. It depends on what you're burning. Waste vegetable oil burns so clean and it smells like French fries. And then I moved over to the waste motor oil because that's what I had access to, and it is not nice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bad stuff in it. You want to keep that away from you.
In all reality, for $300, I think that you can buy a fire pot.
Yeah, but if you want it, like the Atlas Forge, there's $300. What's the one? Go to the Amazon. There's a link on Amazon for like a $70 forge, and it's a little Venturi burner. And these things are very easy to build. You need a couple pieces of pipe from your hardware store and a drill, and you can make one. Some guys use MIG tips. You can also just drill a really hole.
A really hole.
A really hole. A little.
You're dragging today.
Brother, it was a late night and an early morning. It's okay.
So I would say
$119. So, oh golly, Beaver. I want to know
what they don't make.
like, are they just like a community of factories? That's something that we need to build as a society. So I was talking to our motor supplier, and he said that they're in Taiwan, and he said that they are part of a factory, like commune, basically.
Yep.
And so when they need things, they just like go across the yard.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I need this from you, and then I need this from you.
It's
like
all family run.
I want like village industry again.
His literal quote to me as he walked by our tap arm was, "Who makes this? Whatever you need, I have a cousin that makes it."
Yeah.
And like he literally, and I thought he was making a joke.
He wasn't.
He wasn't. He was like, "Do you want to sell these? I can get you like 20 of them right now. Like, do you want to become a warehouse?" like they literally just, "Oh, you know how to do that? I know how to do this. Together
Right.
we can make this machine."
Right.
Okay.
Well, the induction forges are like that too, because the manufacturer of the induction forge is like up the street from the manufacturer of the water chillers, and they just like.
Yeah, that is something that I see being a necessity as we try to revive American manufacturing.
Yeah.
We have to work together. We
need hundreds of thousands of small makers. You do
Exactly.
need big factories and things for certain products, but there is a factory that Evan and I passed when we went and did the FlexArm, American-made FlexArm tour in Lima, Ohio. I think we were. I don't remember the name of it. All glass. The whole factory was glass. Probably built turn of the century, and it's a forging shop. And they do like military artillery barrels, like big forgings like that. Can you show the picture on the wall? Like that. Oh, I'll just show it. Hold on. I'll bring it on the camera.
You just hung that up.
I know, but that's okay. I can take it off because I didn't tape it.
I guess we can see it fine.
Look at this. Look at this guy. You see that? If you're not watching the podcast, you're missing out. There's a man up there on that saw. He's doing sample cuts on a naval gun forging. Right here. There's a man on the saw. Look at that. That's what we need.
Yeah, I think we'll need. There's not enough infrastructure for us to just turn around and in 5 years have 100,000 employee, even towns that can do one product. What we need small manufacturers to provide to slightly less small manufacturers, and then eat up that chain until who cares if everything you buy says Panasonic or GE or whatever,
right?
As long as that's just the final step. When you have one manufacturer making all the parts, that's where you start losing. That's where you get into like, oh, we don't need these 1,500 employees. We can replace it with this machine and that machine, and all that's necessary in the time we live in. To within reason. But if you have, manufactured products is a perfect example. They've got like 5 employees. They've all worked there for 30 years.
Yep.
And if you call
ton
them,
of knowledge,
they will make whatever you
When
need.
he literally is like, yeah, I've got a guy they've got all these old machines in the back. And he'll say, yeah, when I get a job in, I call my retired friend and he comes and runs the Blanchard grinder for me and like gets the parts out. Like, the capability there is so multifaceted. And when you get into these massive corporate structures, you get a lot of bureaucracy. And on top of that, you get a lot of no. And I think these small shops are really going to thrive in this environment because they're the guys that are going to say, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And,
well, and they're also the guys that we get, if you just Google, metalworking or CNC capability, and you're from the Madison County area, we pop up. And so we get a lot of phone calls. Yesterday I got a phone call. Hey, I need you to make me some iron out of mill scale. Hey, I need you to make me this. I need you to make me that. One of them was a guy got a contract to turn down a bolt for this machine that they could either fix the bolt or they had to replace the bolt, and replacing it was like thousands of dollars. So they were like, we're going to fix it. So they took it to this guy, and when he got the bolt in, he started trying to machine it, and he was like, oh, I need this annealed. Well, I don't have any furnaces because I'm a machine shop. So he
Right.
called us. We
Yeah.
just threw it in a forge for half an hour. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, how much do I owe you? And I was like, we already had the forge going. So like, nothing. And so because of that, though, because of that relationship, Chris and I are actually going to go down there, and it's a machine shop. Is there anything that we can actually like spend money with them? You
Right.
know, so now that that relationship's accomplished, you don't get that. You don't get that with large manufacturers. They aren't going to call and support the local community. They're going to load up 1,500 of those bolts, ship them to somewhere in Iowa that only does annealing. That works in their system.
Well,
Like
but
you said, there's just too much.
Yeah, but some of that
bureaucracy.
is
bureaucracy.
There's no shops left. There's nobody
That is
local
a
to
that is
farm
a
out to.
huge.
You know, when we were
Yeah.
going through, like when we moved to Cicero, there was an old glass factory. Shout out Cicero Glass Company, I think. And there's only documentation of the company because they would hire children and then not pay them because they were children. And when they were confronted with it, they were like, they're just kids. Like, oh, okay. Anyway, the glass factory, really cool plant. I had dreams of buying the building, but it got burned down shortly after we moved in. Anyway,
All the
we
work
went.
tables were too low.
We went, and there was a stamping manufacturer in there that had closed, and he was the business owner. Was there just a normal guy, and they had made like starter enclosures. There was a stamping operation, so they would stamp the starter enclosures for Delco Remy, which was I don't know if it was a subsidiary of GM or if it was just like
They were contract, I think.
yeah.
a long time
Another
contract.
plant that we got a bunch of equipment from up north. They made the steering columns. They had the largest broaching press I've ever seen in my life because they had to broach these like 3-foot shafts. Anyway, are you about to lose me? Is the camera getting too hot? Okay. My abs just get it all sweaty. So the stamping operation was closing. All of those jobs had been shipped to Mexico, and he was loading up trucks with the stamping equipment to go down and train his replacements in Mexico. And it's like the company made that decision because there was a cost proposition.
Right.
Like I get it.
Yeah.
I think that what happens though is in the small manufacturing scene, there is a willingness to work through problems. If you read through the historical documentation around lean manufacturing and Taiichi Ono and the founding of Toyota, there was a lot of pressure put on the first and second tier supply chain feeding Toyota parts for optimization. And they talked often about they would go into these plants and train them in their manufacturing principles that they had found to be so profitable. But a lot of it was pushing these machine shops to try harder.
Yeah.
It was literally all they were really doing. It was like, no, optimize your processes, think through your processes, plan better.
Spend 15 minutes to save an hour.
Well, and think about it. Like one of the biggest things was the big stamping operation. So in the Ford era, they would design a press around a die, and then that press would only do that one part. Well, you're talking about an industry that was poised for vertical integration to the degree that Ford was able to go in and buy the lumber yards, the coal mines, the iron ore mines. Then he would buy up ships and trains, and he had his own train line, and he was so vertically integrated because the market was open for it. Yeah. Like they needed the cash input, but they also needed a system of management to come in and teach them how to manage these things profitably. So, I mean, he had hospitals and orphanages. I mean, he was just buying up all these things and using his system of management to, lean out the waste. And, he talks about in one of his books going into a railroad yard, and the first thing that they did was fire all the lawyers and clear out the empty offices and sell the real estate. And then they cleaned up the buildings, and they would go to the people on the rail lines, and they would say, if you see a car needing unloaded, go unload the car. And they go, well, we can't. We have to get prior authorization from and he's like, no, you don't. That we don't do things like that.
Yeah.
Like Ford was famous for not having any management in his factories. He had no org chart. He said he put men in front of a task that needed done, and the best men would rise to the occasion.
Right.
And then they would naturally lead teams of other men to do that work. And so, I mean, it was like a pure meritocracy. Now, later years, things changed, whatever. But when you're talking about like the founding of an organization like that in its purest form, that vertical integration worked. But when you have people pursuing vertical integration for its own sake, they want to own everything from the mine to the finished product. It gets distilled into this like conflagration of confusion. It's just a wildfire, and they aren't taking into consideration, like they're not making decisions because there's opportunity and it's a right fit for the industry. They're just kind of like, how can I make more money? Which is a pure pursuit on its own.
They're making decisions because it matches the system. Right. And
I'm not even sure. I guess I'm getting a little lost. It almost doesn't make sense though in this era.
Right.
Like there needs to be a distillation back into these experts. Like you'll see in Japan, a knife maker buys his steel from a small steel producer, and then they'll forge the blade, and then the blade goes to a grinding shop, and then the grinding shop, some of them will handle the work, some of them send it to a handle shop. It's like, I don't know, that everyone is such an expert at their craft and they can own it independent of any conglomeration.
Right.
But the vulnerability in that system is like Ford did. If it has poor management of the process and system, then half the process can be really efficient. Half of it can be really inefficient. Anyway, I think in this new era that we're coming into, the nimble small manufacturers are our only opportunity to build the bedrock of successful manufacturing growth. And over time, like the meritocracy system I just kind of talked about, the leaders in their fields will rise to the surface.
Yeah.
History's going to repeat itself. The best of the best will rise up. They'll become larger. They'll get larger. They'll start buying a smaller shot. We're just going to repeat the same process. But I do think that the bedrock of all of that gets founded on small, agile shops that can be responsive, and the guys and gals that are willing to say, yeah, I can do that. I can figure that out.
The word that you hit there was responsive.
Yeah.
That is what you don't have in manufacturing
in big
today.
industry. Yeah.
You don't have the responsiveness of
just a willingness. You used willingness in a past one, where there's a willingness to step into the void and say, yes, we will figure this out. We will do this.
What I'm saying is, so you and I sit down and we work for a conglomerate, and this is true in movies, in shoes, in machinery, in appliances. We design something. Well, it's going to take us 3 years to get it to market from that first rough draft idea of this is what we want the machine to do. By the time we get the machine to market, every single one of our competitors also either has it to market or is about to within the next 2 or 3 months. So there's nowhere for you to really get your grounding. Like we broke into single phase, 2 horsepower, 110 C-frame presses. That's where we got our footing. Nobody else was doing that.
Right.
We were able to do that because there wasn't a manufacturer doing that, and it wasn't really an option. So when you get into, and we'll just say appliances, when you get into, Samsung has an idea that, okay, well, this fridge is going to have Bluetooth in it so that it can talk to your phone. And if something goes wrong in the fridge, you just Bluetooth it and pull up your app, and it's, oh, this refrigerator's compressor is bad. Samsung might have come up with that, but also when I was selling appliances, my LGs did that, my Sonys did that. Everything did that. Which Sony appliances still just sounds weird to say out loud. But you don't have that responsiveness of this is what the market needs and it's going to get it quickly. There's red tape that slows you down. There is scaling that slows you down. There's infrastructure that slows you down. Whereas when you go into a place like, I think the place that I was talking about earlier was called like American Machine Shop. American Machine Shop or Manufactured Products or even MoFab. when you go and you say, hey, I need this, because of their scale, because they're smaller, they're able to give you a 5-week lead time. If you go into a big major manufacturer like a Council Tool and you say, hey, I need 4,000 of these axes, you're on probably a 2 to 3 year wait list. You know, they don't have the responsiveness to where, okay, that's going to take me 3 or 4 days to set up. Do you have the CAD files? Okay, this is how my machines can run it. Let me send this to you for approval. Here's my first article. You're at the end of the week. Boom. On Monday, you're starting production. You can do that in a small shop. And yeah, it's going to take them a little longer. It might take them 2 months to get all those axes out as opposed to 2 weeks.
Right.
But you skipped that entire front end of, well, we have to get through all the red tape, and then we have to set this machine up to do this one thing, and that takes 4 or 5 days, and then I have to design a pallet around it, and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like at some point, just one dude running a machine is way more efficient than that.
Right.
And that's what we're missing out on is, you know, we've looked into pallet systems for some of our smaller parts, and we've looked into obviously outside manufacturers for some of the stuff, especially lathe work, since we only have one. But the responsiveness of specifically American manufacturing is just not there. You know? So I think this happens every podcast. So
You're an old,
I think
gross
that
man.
put a little Tiger Bomb right on their throat. I'll take care of it.
Shout out Tiger Bomb.
Shout out Tiger Bomb
Do you
again.
have a Tiger Rower?
Made it
I'm gonna get one now.
made it to the Instagram, Mom. I'm famous.
Tiger Bomb.
They reposted me talking about how great Tiger Bomb is. I love this stuff. Like I genuinely do. That's why it feels good to
All
be
right,
on
give
their
me some
Instagram.
Can we just get sponsored, Tiger Bomb?
Yeah.
Come on, we're almost out.
Mandy bought me back patches from Tiger Bomb for totally unrelated
like wax
for my
patches
birthday.
to get your back hair off.
No, I don't. I actually don't have a hairy back. And if I did, you couldn't see it because of all the skin sin I have on it. But skin sin, for those of you at home, are tattoos. I don't have some sort of
Lesions. Can't see them through the bloody lesions.
Yeah. I'm not implying that God's judgment rests upon my back. But
It doesn't. It was just Easter.
But Mandy bought me
free.
these back patches the day that they posted me on their Instagram. She bought me those in part of my birthday package. So
Oh, I
it's
got it in
funny.
my eyes.
I love Tiger Bomb.
I will say, don't put it on and then go to the restroom.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
Shout out.
that.
Ouch.
Shout out.
Hashtag.
Hashtag feel the roar. But I think that responsiveness, and as we get into some of our OEM forging that we're getting into, you're working through designs, getting them approved, and then immediately you're starting production.
Yeah, I always ruin a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's part of
think
the design process.
It is, and I think there's just a willingness. I'm willing to, be bad at what I'm trying to do.
Right.
If it's worth doing wrong first.
Yeah.
The tiger has entered the chat. It is inside of my sinuses.
Yeah, that's where it lives. Oh, I love it up there.
Menthol.
You get like a good, like a good. You're feeling heavy. Like you're not sick.
Good.
You just have sinuses. You're feeling
Good.
heavy.
I feel my sinuses.
You just rub it all on the inside of your nose.
probably says not to do that.
Yeah, it
but
probably
I
does.
can't read that font.
Probably does.
That is 1-point font.
Anyway, I think that'll get us into our main discussion.
Did we answer this? You just buy a cheap one if it's propane. If you want to if you're like a kooky guy, if you're kooky, do something weird.
Buy a fire pot and then just get some 10 gauge and bend it.
Could do that.
Like make your own. The fire pot's going to be cheap. Most drop shops or scrap yards will have some 10. I wouldn't go much smaller than that.
Or you just cover it with clay. The old forges were supposed to be clayed.
Yeah, but there's definitely viable ways to do that. Call Max. Max probably has 15 forges laying around.
He
his
doesn't.
house.
He gave us his only one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Isn't that sweet?
We should give him a class too. We should give him a one-on-one next
Shout
time
out
he comes by.
Max.
I don't think he actually blacksmiths. I think he just thinks
He has a
collecting
shop.
things is cool.
I went to his
Does he?
house. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good guy. Never thought that Max would make it to the podcast. That was
Right.
never part of my dreams.
What's
of
the
Max.
phrase? What do the youth say? That wasn't on my bingo card.
Yeah.
Max on the podcast wasn't on my bingo card today.
What's that voice?
I don't know.
What's that voice? All right. Main discussion. Building your own tools. This week's topic is all about taking the next step in your blacksmithing journey by forging the tools you need. Do you think when Evan writes these, he knows we're just going to read them verbatim, or do you think he wants us to act casually?
He wants
and
us to act casual.
At some
Kinda
point,
bring
I
them
would
Supposed to be
hope,
fast
yeah.
casual dining.
fast casual, like
Fast.
Johnny Rockets?
I've never been to Johnny Rockets. Is that like a Californian establishment that you
Noah
found while
worked
you were
there.
there? Noah worked at a restaurant?
Yeah. He's a busboy at Johnny Rockets.
I
when he
can't
was in high
see
school.
Noah as a busboy.
Well, he's not here with us, so you can't see him at all. Why is making your own tooling a milestone for a smith?
Because it means you understand your process. You have to know what you need to make the thing, you know? It means that you've it's a
I think
It's a
that's part of
milestone.
it, but I also think it's just accomplishment. It's just it gives you that oomph behind your sales. Just stay on Nathan this entire time, because every time I start talking, he makes these faces.
the Tiger Bomb is in my eyelids.
He struggles through it while he's talking, but then when I start talking, he starts making these wild faces. But I think it gives you the win behind your sales to say, okay, I accomplished making this thing.
It's
You
like
know.
problem solving. You got to make a thing to make the thing.
Yeah. Oh, I made
you
this
know?
turning fork. If I can make this turning fork, then I can make the scroll that I made.
A tuning fork?
Turning fork, bending fork. I heard it called a froggy tool. I have been reminded that colloquial terms are true in blacksmithing. So
Can
everybody
you define colloquial?
colloquial local reference.
A local reference.
So,
Evan,
like-
can we fact check that,
I'm on
please?
it. I'm on it.
Do you
So
have? Do
somewhere
you,
calls it a hoagie. We call it a sub. Other places call it a grinder. That would be the colloquial term for that style of sandwich.
So it's like contexty and nuanced,
No, it's like, where do you live and what do you refer to it as?
like a Minnesota hot dish.
Yeah, hot dish we would call casserole.
Used in ordinary or familiar conversation, not formal or literary. Literary. There's a term
so
I
it's
didn't.
a colloquial term.
Wasn't on my bingo card to use that term today.
Anyway, tools all have different names if you travel
Like a-
5 hours away from where you're
like
from.
Cheese. What's it called? A cheese. Oh no! Now I can't remember the rest of it. What is it? A cheese wedge? What is it? A cheese?
Cheese wheel,
No.
cheese wedge,
Ah,
cheese ball,
stop
cheese
it! Oh, I have so many text messages. Hold on. Should read them all.
omelette du fromage.
No, it's a tool. Cheese fuller? Cheese fuller tool? I got cheese grater.
Oh, the thing Charlie's been making?
yeah,
A
what's
wedge
it-
tool.
No, it's called a cheese.
I've never heard anybody call it cheese. This is colloquial to your own house.
Cheese tool blacksmith. That's just gonna give me cheese knives. Called it.
Anywho, everybody calls something different. So I think it just gives you that sense of confidence of saying, like, I got through a project that's actually going to be helpful to me. And then it also begins to expand your capabilities, like we talked about. When you're buying tooling or making tooling, you are expanding your capability to do even more projects in the future. You might also gain insight on how to finish something that you struggled with that is an unrelated thing. It might teach you a new technique. So I think it's good for knowledge. It's good for morale, and gives you. I'm just trying to carry this on while you're.
I have to figure out what it's called. So
I think it's just a wedge tool.
Nope.
I think you are putting the word cheese in it.
Nope. It's got cheese in it.
It's like a pizza roll. It's got cheese in it. Examples of beginner-friendly tooling to forge first. Hardy tools, punches, chisels, and tongs.
Hardy tools are fun because you just put the thing in your Hardy and then you and your
And it's a
friends
tool.
swing at it.
Yeah,
with a
it
big
doesn't
hammer,
have to even
make
be
some
the right
swages.
shape. Tongs I would take out of beginner and move that into intermediate.
They were one of my first tools, and they're bad, but it teaches you so much about how to isolate material, how to punch, how to drift, how to rivet. I mean, come on, bud.
Yeah, I would say intermediate. I think it has too many parts. And
Define intermediate.
the other part, that's a well-known definition. I don't.
I know it's well known, but can you define it?
After beginner, before expert.
Producer Evan, what is the definition of intermediate?
The other part is people will judge you on your tongs.
Coming between two things in time.
Intermediate.
So it's like a halfway. That okay. That's what I'll use. Halfway. You're halfway there.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but people are often very kind when you're presenting them ornamental work or even like hand tooling. But the moment you hand somebody some tongs, they're going to comment on them. Whether it's good or bad, they will comment every single
They're
time.
squeaky and crooked. And
Exactly.
I don't like the handles.
Every time you hand somebody tongs, they have to
Everyone's
comment on
very
them.
opinionated.
And so that will
Have you seen the pass-through
Take the
tongs
wind.
where you punch a hole and you open it up and then the other piece passes through and then that acts as your pivot?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find those now. What was that guy's name?
I don't know.
Oh no, that German guy that forges on his balcony.
Oh,
GS tongs.
Yes.
yeah.
Shout
It's
out.
gonna take me a minute.
Shout out GS tongs.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
cool
cool
videos.
Yeah. Very clean forgings. I like that he
But-
just does enough. He would be a great guy to watch if you're just learning how to blacksmith.
Yeah.
Because he's like makes tongs and then they're done. Mm-hmm. You know, he doesn't dink with it. He
Yeah.
doesn't mess with it too much. He just makes the tongs. And they're very simple, but they're excruciatingly clean. Squeaky. But not bad squeaky. Not WD-40 squeaky.
Good squeaky.
Squeaky clean.
What was that giggle?
Do you have a squeaky?
No, I've got the volume turned up for this guy, and it was his intro.
His intro is children laughing.
Let's see if I can get it again. It's not.
Children yearn for the mines. Yeah, it's terrifying.
Not a fan.
Nope.
Not a fan. What was the guy? How-to video guy that he would just like throw eggs on his feet.
Oh,
How to
it was
basic.
it was
How
like, yeah,
to
how to
basic.
basic. Yeah.
Oh, man.
how to make chocolate milk, and he would just like throw the cup.
Oh my gosh.
Those are fun.
Degradation
Those
of modern
videos
society.
gave me a lot of anxiety.
Yes,
but I love
so
them.
much. Well, yeah.
So, anywho,
Chisels and punches are a
Chisels
great
and
one. They'll
punches are
teach you
great.
about heat treating because you'll know right away if you did it wrong.
geometry.
Yeah.
How to go from round to square to octagon back to round.
Was round to octagonal to square.
Right. Yeah.
Square to round. Is
Yes.
Octagonal.
But-
Octagonal is the intermediate between round and square.
Good use of the word intermediate.
Thanks.
So I would say, yeah, chisels, punches. Hardy tools are also a fun one because you really learn about isolating material because oftentimes you're doing like a
Yeah. You got to upset.
3 1/4 inch or
gotta-
3
you gotta
1/4. That's
give it a
huge
shoulder.
freaking shank, like a 3/4 inch shank, and
3 1/4.
you're isolating that
It's a girthy
from
boy.
1.5 inch, but your 1.5 inch needs to end up at 2 inches. So it's teaching you a lot of isolation.
There was a
and-
website. I think it's beautifulIron.org. And he released a video of forging a one-piece rose, and they forged it out of like 3-inch round on a 25-pound Little Giant. There you go. Good on you, producer Evan. Look at that. Isn't
Took
that
a minute.
interesting?
It's so cool.
So interesting. But see what I mean? Like his forging is like super clean, and then he stops. He like knows when to stop. Oh, we're just gonna watch this now.
Yeah.
Is this copyrighted? Are we allowed to watch this? He'll usually do a light gold rub right at the end.
Yeah, Ira did that at CBA.
Very cool.
Schnooper.
So, but yeah, Hardy tools, chisels, punches.
Oh, wait, there's the gold rub.
Told ya.
He sprayed it on.
Wait, what? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He rubs it on. It's a brass brush.
Oh, I didn't see the gold
Calm
until
down,
after
producer Evan.
it just kind of appeared after he sprayed it.
He rubbed it with
Oh,
gold.
I didn't see that part.
Gold. I love gold.
I would also say stuff that is not tooling related.
S hooks.
S hooks, J hooks.
You have to make a minimum of 1,000 S hooks before you can be called an intermediate.
I kind of agree with that.
Yep.
Leafs,
Leafs are good. We talked about Leafs last week. Leaves are great.
nails.
I haven't forged many nails. Corkscrews. I want to forge a corkscrew real bad. I also just want wine.
Wine, yeah.
Been thinking about wine a lot.
Yeah, wine openers.
We had pork chops last night. Shout out.
Me, because
My
I
pig.
inspired you.
No.
I,
My pork
I
chops
ate so
were
many pork chops
so
yesterday.
much better than your pork chops.
you think that?
Brother, let me tell you something. All right. We fed our pig.
Other pigs?
No, you don't feed pork to pork. We would feed our pig raw milk every day from our cow because we had too much. And what is it? It's not called pastured pork. It's called like, it was pastured pork, but it was dairy raised pork. It sells like, okay, so there's a guy. He buys Mangalitsa pigs. He feeds the Mangalitsa pigs not just raw dairy, but a lot of raw dairy. And he sells each pig for between $6,000 to $8,000 when he sells them, butcher, all that out.
Cleaned.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah.
And I cooked it in butter, which is, you got to baste it.
I grilled mine.
Fresh garlic and thyme.
I actually made mine for
Based
Charlie, and he didn't eat them.
Charlie is an ungrateful son of a gun. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what.
He,
I've got some anxiety every time I'm around Charlie because I'm
My-
going to give him a compliment and he's going to make a fart joke.
my parents gave him lamb, so
I thought you were going to say land. My
My
parents gave him land.
Charlie got adopted into my family this Easter.
Shout out
Shout out my newest brother.
hurt feelings right here.
You were also
You were
invited.
feeding his kids like you feed my kids.
Yeah.
Frunkle Frankus.
So yeah, next question. What materials and design principles matter most when building tooling?
What's available? What you got?
Right.
Figure it out.
Right.
Tickle and Scout. I figured it out. Shout out the best claymation series on Amazon. Tumbleleaf.
Oh, actually,
It's so good. Tickle and Scout. I figured it out.
yeah.
Oh, it's so good. What adventure are we going to have today, Wiggles? That's not a character on the show, but I don't remember.
This looks horrifying.
No, it's
No,
so good.
It's like Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It's the
just
best.
relaxing.
But not Fantastic Mr. Fox. Tumbleleaf, dude. It's the
Yeah,
best.
It's wonderful.
You should Google get us a little clip of Tickle and Shout. I figured it out. See if you could figure that one out. Producer Evan. I think they call this
Well-
dead air.
While we wait for that, yeah, what's available? I
Little ASMR.
have found out that 4140 is not as readily available out west.
Dude, we're so spoiled. We have so many good things here.
Yeah. So when I brought 4140, everybody was really excited about that. If you have A33 around, that's huge. We sell that, but also don't make tongs out of it. No spring. Your handles will be very, very stiff. But yeah, it really does boil down to what's available. And a lot of times it's who are you working with and what do they prefer?
Well, but I think back on the what's available thing, we are so spoiled with modern
Yeah.
steel choices and all that stuff. 150 years ago, like
50 years ago.
steel was a huge deal.
Yeah. 50 years ago.
That should be a shirt. Steel is a huge deal.
Huge.
The fact that you had material that could handle any abuse whatsoever was a modern.
Not only that, but steel of known origin.
Sure.
Like knowing what this is. And
tomahawk.
I love Kurt, but anytime you ask him, like, oh, what'd you make this out of? He has a response.
Yep. And that response
And that
is
response
ready
is
to bleep.
Ready to bleep.
It's a
Because he came up in an era where it was just like, that's forklift time. That's tough. I can use that.
Right.
That's this. It's, you know.
That's an artillery shell.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
15 bandsaw blades. That's tough. You know,
We'll make it work.
I kind of know what it was used for, and that tells me enough to forge it, heat treat it.
Well, they were
And-
probably forging the forklift tines at that
Yeah,
plant.
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But
Did you ready to bleep? You have to bleep that. There are children. My children watch this, and they've never heard that
not
word
with
before.
you around, Melinda
I
would never
don't
allow
believe
that. Can't watch your own shows.
Yeah, I do. I always watch my own stuff, and she's like, "Are you just sitting there watching yourself?"
I-
Like, well, yeah. I'm like seeing if I should do something different, or like, does it look good? Like, does
I
it
listened
work?
to my podcast with Greg just to make sure, like nothing.
Yeah, well, that was for yeah,
yeah,
that's for
But
ethical reasons.
Other than that, I hate my own voice.
that sucks.
It's bad,
I'm
and I
sorry.
am so sorry for all the listeners at home
Yeah,
that they have to hear
yeah,
this.
same. I'm sorry. I hired Francis.
Yeah, same.
No, honestly, it was good. It was really good. I'm glad you're here.
Such a weird mood today. But
Well, we got the crane coming. I got big lifts today.
yeah,
A lot of nerves.
a lot of nerves. Yeah,
I'm on edge.
big feelings.
I've got big feelings today.
Big feelings. Big feelings.
Will you buy me White Castle again? Shout out the onion chips from White Castle were a delicacy now.
I'm not going to be anywhere near White Castle
It's
today.
not a question I asked you. It's like when I'm like, Oliver, will you pick up that trash? Well, I didn't put it on the floor. I didn't ask you if you put it on the floor. I asked you to put it in the trash can. What is the trash can?
He doesn't know where the trash can
No.
is.
No, because we don't have any trash cans in our house right now.
Sounds like a
Because it's
problem.
under construction. So I just have
5
trash
children.
bags hung on every door handle. And so it's like, just, do you see a trash bag? That's the trash can.
I got the quotes that I'm getting for trash service at the new house
Astronomical,
are
right?
ridiculous.
What are you looking at? How much? What
About
are they saying?
$100 a month,
Oh, that sucks.
and
Ours
I have to rent the trash cans.
So we had 2 trash cans with Republic for $65 every 2 months.
yeah. My parents told me that they pay about $120 quarterly.
Yeah.
So I can get a small dumpster
I'm going to get a dumpster.
for $60 a month.
Yeah.
And then
Samesies.
just call them when it's full.
Oh, they come and pick it up on a regular schedule for us.
Yeah. Well, that's an extra.
We're a dumpster
That's like an
family.
extra $20.
So
Or something like
we'll
that.
just fill the dumpster and then light it on
So
fire.
what I've been doing is just throwing trash in the back of my car
and bringing it here.
and bringing it here.
Amen. Shout
that
out.
seems to be working out.
Shout out our free dumpster here.
Yeah. So I only go through legitimately about a bag of trash a week.
Ours is a bag of trash a day. 50
Yeah.
gallons of trash per day.
I do a 13-gallon bag of trash a week.
Wow. You are saving our environment. You're
don't-
not going to make up the difference, but
I don't
Good for
go
you.
through.
I don't even know where the trash comes from. It just accumulates.
I don't-
Snacks. A lot of snacks in my home.
You might get a couple seltzer water cans.
Seltzer water.
I drink a
Just
lot of
sipping
seltzer water at home, yeah.
Well, I'm still waiting on my tickle and shout. Figure it out.
I'm still looking.
Brother.
But yeah, if anybody in Central Indiana knows of trash service that is not $100 a month, let me know because I'm about to have a small.
Yeah, if anyone has some trash hacks.
Also, burn pile. I do have a burn pile.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
now that I have that, I
the
feel like
modern
my trash
society
will go
would
down
tell
a
you
little
that
bit.
burn piles are an egregious offense to the environmentalists, but I have a dispute with that.
Yeah, jets,
No.
private jets.
My take on this is so I was talking to my uncle about this recently, and he made a comment on how much cleaner the air is now than it was in the 60s and 70s. And okay, so we had a lot of industry, we had a lot of all right, we had a lot of farms. He was a farmer. My take is, how is it more green to put my trash in a petroleum bag, put my petroleum bag in a diesel fueled truck, ship it off to an unknown location where they have all these, they put down the plastic, they collect the rainwater, they have to take the methane gas
They
that off
vent the
gases.
methane, yeah.
Why is that less impactful than I walk outside and light my paper plate on fire?
It's a lie. It's
I
not.
don't buy it.
It's not. It's a lie. Same reason cow farts are ruining.
Oh,
the
don't get me
atmosphere.
started. It's freaking
Yeah, cows are not ruining the atmosphere.
I want to say bad words.
How homemade tooling ties. This is worded weird.
Yeah, it's not meant to be read verbatim.
Oh, how does homemade tooling tie into shop efficiency, self-sufficiency, and creativity? Well, we don't have it
Listen
ready.
to these. Stick is sick. Stick is sick. It's the fantastic folding flag. These are so good. Why can't I find the tickle and shout? I figured it out.
It's hard.
Slippery trout. I figured it out.
That-
See, everyone is different. It's the best. Hold on.
This is great for a podcast
Yep.
about
Good
the
radio.
metalworking industry.
Anyway,
All right, wait.
let's wrap this up. I want to go move big machines.
All right.
What's a new skill you want to pick up this year outside the forge, Francis? See, everyone's different. Pillow about. I figured it out.
Took so long.
Anyway, something I want to elevate my proficiency in.
Speaking.
Speaking would be nice. It's the fact that I do
Same.
it constantly on a regular basis. I am going to. I've got raised garden beds I'm going to put in. I have got.
God
I'm
willing.
keeping an eye out on potential livestock. Small amount of either sheep and chickens.
What are you going to do with the sheep?
I'm going to raise them
For wool, meat, milk?
for both wool and meat.
You know the milk is very high quality. Much
I've
higher
never had
fat.
sheep milk.
Much higher fat
Never
than
had-
goat's milk or cow's milk.
I don't like goat's milk.
Supposedly. I love goat's milk.
Goat's meat, goat's milk feels. I love goat meat, but goat milk is like grainy to me.
Big
for
goat
some
guy,
reason.
huh?
Yeah. But I don't want to raise goats. They're a nuisance.
Tell me about it.
So just getting back to kind of being more self-sustainable, and I've got a little bit of land in the family up north. We'll be going on my first hunting expedition this year, and since I was very little. And
You going knife hunting?
yes,
You track your prey in the nude?
knife with loincloth, but yeah, loincloth, no butt, just cover the front.
right. You got to have the flexibility.
Right. I
Right.
got to protect it from the thistles and
Well, and you got to
thorns.
keep your knife between the cheeks.
Yep. So just getting back to being a little bit more self-sustainable, and then going along with the hunting, marksmanship. I'm very
Marksmanship.
was blessed by a couple of very, very good friends with a new gun. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about
With a
guns
new bleep. I'm gonna
on
bleep with the bleep.
Spotify on YouTube, but blessed with a new gun, and then also am in another couple raffles with low ticket pullage, and I bought a lot of tickets. So probably could have just bought the gun with the raffle money that I spent. But yeah, looking forward to getting more proficient in some marksmanship and just picking up some hobbies so that I'm not
Just
sitting at home
reading
alone.
6th century monk testimonials.
Well, so I do that already, and I'm
Right.
pretty good at it. The problem with that is that I don't have anybody to talk to about it. So whatever I deduce from what they've written
you should join a Facebook
just
group.
has to be right, because I don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of it. And then also,
Yeah, but that's good for your self-esteem.
I'll read 3 or 4 books a week, usually on average, and not like big, thick books,
Sweet
but
brag,
like
dude.
small, like very, very small books that go over kind of one topic. And then all of those blend together because I read them so quick.
I get that.
And so I'll say, oh yeah, St. Augustine in 1912, and then people are like, nope, that was definitely 600. I'm like, dude, I just read the book. I literally just read his book. Okay, he invented the steam hammer, and they're like, where is? Because everything's just melding together.
Yeah.
I don't take the time to actually I don't hyperfixate on one topic. I jump around too much, so I could go from learning about somebody teaching on Romans, and then the very next week I will be learning about somebody's outlook on something else, and then they blend together, and then all of a sudden none of my theories make sense, and I have to go back.
So
and
maybe
reread
instead of
things a lot.
marksmanship, you should shoot for historical accuracy. Oh, get it? Look at that. That was punned up.
Punned up.
On a Wednesday morning.
What are you getting into? What is your goal?
Man, I just want to make bricks. I think that's my big thing. I think I'm going to go get an excavator at the auction, and I'm going to dig a hole, and I'm going to fire bricks. I think I'm just going to do it.
It can't be that hard.
It's not hard. Laborious.
How hot do you have to get your kiln?
You don't. You make a what do they call them? A brick clamp. And what that is you take bricks and you make a pile of bricks, and then you make another pile of bricks, and then you just light it on fire.
So you just have to dry it out.
No, you fire them. And then you take the outer bricks and you put them on the inside, and then you use your fresh bricks on the end, and you just keep making brick clamps. And you just do that until you have enough for your house. I need roughly 18,000 bricks.
That's a lot.
So
I have a feeling I'll be
Is that
getting
a
phone calls.
yeah,
type
that's a big brick clamp. A clamp of bricks. I think I'm using the term maybe slightly wrong. But
It's like a gaggle of children. It's a
But,
clamp of
yeah.
bricks.
yeah. So like our farmhouse, when it was built in the mid 19th century, they would have dug the clay from the farm, and they would have built a brick clamp and fired the bricks. And that's why the bricks are so sick. So I want some sick bricks.
Cool. And you're
And-
doing that to build a new shop?
Yep.
Where?
On my land.
You haven't decided yet?
No, I know.
Oh.
But I have to cut down a tree, and my lens said I can't. So I got to work around that.
I used
you know
to
what
work
we
at
could
a
do?
restaurant with a tree in the dining room.
There we go. The problem
You could just
is
build the shop around the tree.
The problem is it's a very specific variety of tree, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's known. It's awfully large. It's probably 5 feet in diameter. It's a big tree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 5 feet, and it's a kind of tree. I forget. It's like a Russian elm or something like that. But they're known for big branches dying and falling suddenly. So I feel a little bit like it wouldn't be an astute choice
Yeah.
to place a shop.
I noticed this. So my neighbors actually did come over and start cleaning up some of the
From the storm?
the tree that fell, and I noticed that there are probably 5 or 6 trees that I'm pretty sure are dead.
Just standing.
Just
I
standing
got a lot of dead wood.
right next to my barn.
I
so the
don't-
next storm that comes through, I am going to.
Our
Clenched
apple
butthole
tree,
the whole
in
time.
our 100-year-old apple tree, ripped completely in half and wrapped around itself in that last storm.
Huh.
So I'm gonna try to get some air layering going, and so I can do some starts from it, because I don't want to lose it, because
Yeah.
it's a totally unknown variety of tree.
I lost
apple.
I lost an apple tree, or what was it? It didn't have anything on it when I moved in, obviously, because it's winter. But
Right.
I was told it was an apple tree, and that it was like the family's favorite tree, and it makes the best pie, and like they had this whole story behind the tree.
Is it dead?
And it got yeah. Well, it actually would have survived had another tree not
Ripped
fallen
it out
on
of the
it.
ground.
So I am hoping that part of it survives.
Yeah, if you can get a small piece, what you do is you cut a little rim. So you pick a branch right under a bud, and you cut about 1 inch of bark off, and you clean the membrane under the bark, and
Yep.
then you wrap that in soil, moist soil, and you wait a month, 2 months. You can put some root propagant. What is it?
Propaganda.
Rooting powder? I don't know, but it helps propagate roots. And so what happens is the tree makes roots, and then you cut that off and plant it.
Yeah. My
So
dad
that's
used
what
to
I'm
run
gonna
a
do.
nursery. So
Shut up. So did mine. That's weird. What if it was the same nursery?
it wasn't. Was your dad in a cult? Because this nursery was cult.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. To our lovely viewers and viewettes, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic April 30th.
I want to
And,
personally apologize for this episode already.
the swearing.
This has been
This guys, this is a bit of Armenia.
this has been an episode.
So go forth and propagate some roots in your community, in your hobbies, and in your life. Signing off.
Too long, Evan. Cut it out.
That hurt. That hurt my soul.